Today is National Wine and Cheese Day, but if you are not sure what cheese pairs with what wine, we have got you covered. We have a chef from Salumeria 104 in Atlantic Beach joining us. You've put together a selection to help us out this morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for
Would you
having us.
introduce yourself to our guests?
I got you. My name is Rafael de Guzman. I'm actually one of the chefs over there at Salumeria 104 in Atlantic Beach.
Which we love in Atlantic Beach. Of course, I've made a little bit of a mess because I was opening this burrata, so we'll move past that. But so let's start a little bit. Why is it so important to pair the right wine with the right cheeses?
So having the right wine with the right cheeses, obviously, if you get the wrong wine with the wrong cheese, it's not going to be the best experience on there. You have some wonderful cheeses that you already have out there, and the last thing you want to do is have the wrong wine to kind of not really enhance those flavors, but it also works the other way around too. So if you have a great cheese to go with a great wine, it's going to make for a wonderful evening. Well,
we want to help our guests impress our viewers impress their guests during the next dinner party.
Okay.
So will you walk us through, since you're the expert and we certainly are not, okay?
No,
so let's start a little bit with, dry red wine. What is the best cheese with a dry red wine?
So a dry red wine, it really is all going to depend too on your palate, of course. The best cheeses that are going to go with your red wines, obviously I would recommend something that's nice and crumbly, that's going to be sort of enhancing. Red wines are very, very earthy and all that, so you want something that's almost like floral or something that's just going to be kind of nutty, just to enhance everything that's on there. So there's little tips and tricks that we can kind of
So it's interesting too, because we hear specifically then a dry red wine. What is that as an example?
So as a dry red wine, it's mostly as you feel it, you're going to have either like your white wines are going to have a lighter body. Your red wines, having it nice and dry, means it's fuller. It tastes like you're drinking of something of substance. So you want something either light or something to enhance that with it.
Okay, and then the kinds of cheeses?
So the kinds of cheeses, we have several today with our red wines. Obviously, we're going to start off with our Taleggio. Now, this is going to be a little bit pungent, but it's going to have a wonderful flavor. Don't let the aroma kind of sway you the other way.
I smell it from here, but I love strong cheeses.
No worries on that. So that's going to pair well, usually with your lighter wines, your whiter wines, which I do have, but your red wines, we have right here, we have our Reggiano. We also have our Toscano as well. So those are going to be in your Parmesan one. Your Toscano is going to be more of a sheep's milk. This one's going to be more of a cow's milk. So you can have a different kind of saltiness level to it, which is going to pair well with whichever red wine.
So would that be like a Pinot Noir or a Chianti
or a Chianti? The Reggiano is going to go really, really well with the Chianti. Today I actually have a nice little Tuscan that's going to help with everything else like that too. So it's a nice middle ground for both of them. So
now, what about soft cheeses? I love brie, for example, or burrata, which you brought. What would be a great pairing with that?
So great pairing with that. You're obviously going to have your nice light floral wines. I highly recommend, especially with burrata, something sparkling will work really, really well. You want something that's not super overpowering, just to make sure that that flavor of the cheese really comes out.
So I think it's interesting because I think that there's an assumption that you only serve red wine with cheese, but that's not the case. You mentioned something sparkling.
Yep.
So it could be maybe a champagne?
Champagne works really, really well. Obviously, a lot of the sparkling wines, if you have anything floral, anything with like a nutty flavor, or anything that has a lot of notes of pineapple or currant or quinces, they work really, really well with white wines. That old rule of red wines, only with that one, it's a good one to follow, but there's always exceptions to the rule.
So I have a lot of my friends really love Chardonnay. What do you suggest to pair with Chardonnay?
With a Chardonnay, I would probably recommend a nice super soft cheese. The burrata is going to work really, really well. I'm a huge fan of the Taleggio only because that,
which is this here,
right over here, that Chardonnay is, it's usually very, very bright and all that. That Taleggio, because of that initial aroma that you get, it kind of pairs really, really well together, and it's a great finish.
So you don't want them competing against one another, but complementing when it's in your mouth, right?
You want them to work together, even though they're two separate things. You want them to work together, and it just works out really, really well. So.
And Salumeria has amazing options then out in Atlantic Beach. Tell us a little more.
Salumeria, we have everything that you can think of as far as our cheeses. We have a lot of Italian cheeses, from Taleggio to Parmesan Reggiano to Grana Padano. We also have a huge selection of salumis that go really, really well with that as well. And a wide variety of different wines, from reds to whites to champagnes to sparklings. Anything underneath the sun that you can either want to do a nice little party, an antipasti platter, a cheese platter. We have everything underneath.
Well, it is certainly delicious out there, and it is not easy getting in, so make your reservation if you can, nice and early. Thank you, Chef, for being here. We appreciate your time.
No worries, thank you.
We'll be right back.